Good afternoon and welcome to Real Chicks Rock Presents Real Discussions. I'm your host for today, Michelle Dawes-Burt, and I am, as always, super excited because look at them. They're starting with the looks already. We haven't even started the conversation. Right, they're looking at each other crazy. Hi guys, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining us. My guests are super excited to be here. Today's topic is the art of marketing. Yes, and I and I have two people that think they know a lot about marketing.
We've been through a lot.
Okay, they know.
Seasoned,
They know a lot about
experienced
marketing.
folks.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks. So for the guys, all of the new listeners, let me just give a little background about what Real Chicks Rock is all about. It's all about the empowerment of women, and we do it through various different ways. We do it through community service, we do it through public speaking and mentoring, and we do it through this particular platform, which is where we have discussions to talk about things that help give us the tools to be empowered. So today is all about marketing because people have a different perception or an ideology about what marketing is, and I thought I would bring two seasoned people that coincidentally know each other outside of this platform. So we're going to hear maybe some stories, some truths, yes, and some things that are going to help my listeners be better at the whole thing about marketing. Wow. To my left is Jurena. To my right is Ken. Welcome, guys. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yes, yeah. This is good stuff. So you guys know each other a long time, and I met Jurena through Ken. So, and I've been trying to work with Jurena, and our schedules just didn't allow it to happen, and nothing happens before it's time. So I reached out to Jurena because I see you were doing some incredible things with marketing, with your clients, with your brand. And then as a surprise, I brought this guy.
Yeah.
So you didn't even know he was coming.
No.
So this is good. So this is good stuff. So without any delay, Jurena, tell the listeners a little bit about your background, a little bit about yourself.
I am a native of Birmingham, Alabama.
Really?
Yes.
I thought you were more of a Chicago person.
I spent a lot of summers there.
Okay.
I have extended family in the Midwest.
Okay.
My husband's family is also in the Midwest. So I came to Atlanta at 18. I went to Clark Atlanta University, stayed there until about 96, graduated. First gig out of college was working in production for the Olympic Games.
Nice.
From there, I went to a couple of different agencies. So I've worked on Coca-Cola accounts, Postal Service, the Olympics because they became a client.
Yeah.
And then eventually I branched out on my own and created JGlass Communications.
Nice. Awesome. Ken Rye,
Yes, ma'am.
the strategy guy. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, your
About
background.
me?
Just a little bit, because you got a nice, lengthy timeline. Give them a little bit about your marketing side, your marketing background.
So Chicago guy,
Uh-huh.
was real lucky to have an internship at Burrell Communications Group in high school. And at the time, they were like country's premier multicultural agency.
Yes.
So working with Curtis Blow and Kid Play, KRS-One, and trying to really infuse African American culture with marketing and advertising.
Nice.
So that kind of whet my appetite. And of course, Spike Lee was kind of popular.
Yeah, he was.
And Different World was kind of popular.
Absolutely.
Right? So there was all this buzz about Atlanta. So I came down here like, okay, I want some of that. I want the black college experience. I want to be like Spike Lee. I came down to go to Morehouse, and they tricked me a little bit because Spike actually studied at Clark.
Absolutely.
Ah.
Shout out to the mass comm department at Clark Atlanta University.
Right? So that's how I met this lady, right? Is we were students, and at the time we were allowed to cross-register,
Right.
cross-enroll. So there was a whole lot of like hustling students back then.
Yes,
We
yes.
were working in film, radio, advertising,
Promotions,
Promotions.
wherever we could get our.
and that's
feet
really
wet.
how we were kind of paying our way through school,
Absolutely.
right? Like
Absolutely.
we were hustling, working in the industry. And we were talking about this earlier. Like, who were some of those people that you remember?
Oh wow. Let's see. Brian Barber was there. Kenya Barris, Shakir Stewart. Wow, it's quite a few. The Super Friends.
Super Friends.
It was a lot of people. Kenny Burns, people just
Wow.
passing through and doing things and supporting one
Wow.
another. And then the campus was very open, so the people that had the celebrity tag, they were our age, so they were on campus. So it was nothing to walk out and see, Busta Rhymes just sitting on the yard. And you're like,
right.
why are you here? So yeah, that was fun times.
Or our street teams were the ones that helped break Puffy and some of those kind of folks, right? So it was just real fertile ground just in the AUC, right? And of course we had our share of Jack the Rapper,
Jack the Rapper,
all these other things that came through. But as college students, we got a chance to work in the industry.
Okay.
And I mean, we could probably run through situations after situations. Robert Townsend, Sinbad, like these were the folks that were doing production in the AUC. So that's kind of what got us started. Simultaneously, I was working at radio at WCLK. And it was also a good time to do that because that's really when jazz, funk, hip-hop fusion was a big thing.
Okay.
And, kind of what got us started.
And also there were a lot of entrepreneurs like Marco Blue Johnson.
Okay.
So he came up with this idea to, I'm going to bring pitas to Atlanta, and we were like, what's a pita?
Yeah, I remember that.
What? A pita.
Yeah.
And we opened in 24 and 23-year-olds running a store, and it was
good.
Interesting. It was good. It was he ended up with 3 locations and
it was good.
Good times. Yeah, we learned a lot. Yeah. We learned a lot.
So you guys are rich with the background, so that's good because then you guys are still relatively current in today. So it's going to be really great to talk about the comparatives because it's a different time.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the older heads, we do talk about how it was back in the day and how it's different today. So we're going to talk about that. But I think just before we can go to that level, what is your definition of marketing?
For me, marketing is the umbrella of all things that happen in the process to get customers to buy your product. So whether it's advertising, PR, social media, it all falls under that marketing umbrella.
Nice.
So that's what it is for me.
Ken, how about you?
For me, it's just making sure that you deliver on the promise between the service provider, the product, and how you deliver on that. And just to make ever taking the customer for granted. Their money on something that you have to offer, make sure that you're communicating and delivering in a way that it makes sense to them. Develop a strategy for any customer, right? Sometimes we get kind of caught up that, this is only my customer.
Right.
These are all transferable skills.
Right. Supposed to be.
Right.
Supposed to be.
Supposed to.
Because I think the issue is, or the opportunity is that everybody that says they can help you with your marketing can't, because their skills may be limited, or they're not able to. Maybe they're not comfortable with the brand. They don't really know how to approach it or to attack it. So, I think people need to. I don't want to say leery, but just keep it real and be, 100 in saying that every client or customer or opportunity that comes your way, it may not be a fit for your skill set.
This is true.
And it should be data-driven, right? I mean, you shouldn't just be guessing, right?
Okay.
Anybody that you engage with should actually take the time to research your business, research you, understand where you're trying to go, understand your competition, right? It's not a one-size-fits-all situation. And if somebody comes to you that way, then
pass them by. Tell them keep it moving.
I think the issue is, though, for a lot of people that might be new in the area of being an entrepreneur, their brand is still new, so they don't really have the data. So a lot of it for the entrepreneur, the owner of the business, is still trying to figure out what it is their product or service should be at the end of the day.
But that should be the fun part of the process.
You think?
Yeah. Yeah.
You think?
That's the arts and crafts of business, like figuring out how to make all of this work for the bottom line.
See, you guys are experienced, so it's fun for you. So when we get the people that don't know what they're doing, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, for them and for the client, absolutely. Yes, because that's throwing money out of the window now, and then you're developing trust issues with the next person that you go to help you because you've already been burned, and that makes it tough.
And if it were easy, right, we wouldn't be in business. If everybody could do it.
Okay, say that.
Right?
Yeah, right, because everybody can't do it.
And then we get a chance to interact with some amazing clients, PhDs, filmmakers,
actors and musicians and events that are mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So.
Right. But you still have to help them channel
Yeah, I think with them it might be easier. I think more of the average common person, it's a little bit more difficult because they don't have those type of accolades yet for you to grab at any one of those things and market that. I think when it's a new person, like somebody that just doesn't know, that's where the challenge comes in because, okay, so for example.
I'm going to let you go. Okay.
Who, you want it first?
We're
Go.
both about to get
Well,
you.
well, go get me.
You wanna-
Tell
you
me.
wanna- You want to get her first?
Tell me.
I'm going to let you go first.
Go.
I'm gonna let
Somebody.
you go first.
Ken?
So first of all, you've already taken that leap, right? If
How?
you're an entrepreneur,
Okay.
you've already made that commitment.
All right.
Right? There's already something in you that says, I've got something special and people want it.
True.
It's already there.
True.
Now, what's not easy is how you communicate that and convey that. to customers.
Okay.
Like, that's the thing that's challenging. And, you know, again, engineers, all kinds of smart people, it's not easy. But you go through a certain process.
Okay.
You make sure that you truly highlight what differentiates you from other people. And then, you know, and she's being modest, right? Look at all this work.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm not talking on behalf of me.
Example number one.
Talking on behalf of the
Example
people
number
that are
one.
listening.
Savannah.
This is-
Example number one.
See, that's not really difficult in doing. It's just really like a good picture, a website.
Now you sound like us because you've already done it. So now you're thinking.
Well, it was a good, I was like, I need to use this picture in some kind of format. I like the picture, put the website. It was like some kind of branding. But when people talk like strategies and talk dirty to me and say, where do you see yourself? Where do you want to take the brand next year? Where do you want to take the brand in like 3 years? Those are the difficult questions, I think, for some of us because we don't know.
You have to do it one way or the other, right? Even if you're doing a business plan, you still have to do the same thing.
You got to do your projections, yeah.
Right.
You know, so honestly, you would hope that your comprehensive business plan allocates some space for marketing and communications, right? Like that's the big thing is how is your business growing? And then the marketing and communications aspect is just the support to help you get there.
Okay.
So let me say this. So a lot of times people overthink when they hear the word marketing.
Overthink.
It's simple as this. If you're starting something, who are you going to tell? How do they listen? What words resonate with them? Like, I wouldn't go and talk to or communicate with a 20-year-old African-American male the way that I would with a 60-year-old Caucasian male.
Right.
It's a difference, and you have to figure out how to communicate to each one of those targets.
And maybe that's the thing that we haven't gotten into. So, like right now we're talking high-level strategy, but it really does require research. I mean, research is key. Outside of the stuff that I do that's entertainment, I do corporate marketing.
Right.
And the data and analytics is everything. You know, you're convincing people to make major investments in multi-channel marketing programs. So you have to be absolutely certain what is the value of the customer, how much are they spending, where are they located, who else is talking to them. And you need to make sure it's quantifiable one way or the other. You know, some of the stuff you can pick up through your social media engagement. Sometimes you need to do surveys, site and observe your. Sometimes you need to go to the Small Business Association and see what files are there. You know, sometimes you need to just step back and look at your competition and see what they're doing. But it, you know, everything. This should not feel like a guess.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It should. It's always a calculated move.
Yeah, it should always be based on something. You know, because, I mean, a lot of the times it's experimental. So when you're stepping into, like, a new area, you don't have any data to go on. So you're like, okay, what do I do? But you should have some type of solid pinpoint or bookmark. And you say, if this happens, then I know that I'm on the right track. And it could be, you know, many different things, but it should all be based on
I think I'm
something.
missing the bookmark.
It starts with an objective.
I think I'm missing the bookmark.
Yeah.
Okay.
It starts with the objective. So again, what's your business plan? If it's,
That's a
if it's
dirty
strictly
word.
revenue,
It's dirty word.
if it's strictly revenue,
It's dirty words. Business plans, because a lot of people don't have business plans.
No.
They don't, and they don't realize the importance of it.
I mean, the business plan is there to help you flesh out those ideas that are floating around, that are coming to you while you're driving or you're picking the kids up. You know, I mean, I'm old-fashioned, but I still keep pen and paper.
Yes.
Because I don't know what it is with me and driving, but I start getting things downloaded, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I? So I have, my child or whoever's in the car, write this down. I don't know who it's for, but write it down, because you have to figure those things out. So with your business plan, you're basically just putting it on paper and you're fleshing it all out. And when you're done, you're like, oh my God, all that stuff that was jumbled now makes sense because it's categorized and it's put in the right place. So it's to benefit.
Yeah, I do. I write stuff down on napkins.
Well, some very talented people start out with napkins, and yes.
Tissue concepts.
Yes.
So you used to call them tissue concepts.
Napkins are very important because when ideas come out, or if somebody says something, I grab a napkin. I don't always have a piece of paper and I write it down to capture it, because people like yourselves are seasoned enough, what it is. And so any nugget of information that's given, you got to get it. And then you build it. And you build it and you put it into your business plan. Now, I think the other thing, too, what cripples us is that people think that once it's written down, that's it. So a business plan has the right to be evolved, right? It's always
it's a working document. It's always growing. It's always changing.
And you should project a little further out. Sometimes we're so caught up in the moment. It's like, what are you doing this year? But what are you doing 5, 10, 15 years from now?
Okay. What's the difference between advertising and marketing?
Advertising is a tactic.
Really?
Marketing is a strategy.
Simple as that? Mm-hmm. Why do we get it mixed up? Why do we think it's one and the same?
Well, I think the everyday man looks at those words like advertising and marketing, and they seem foreign. But if you break them down to common terms, you're communicating with someone. I'm talking to you. How am I talking to you? Verbally, you're recording it. It's a very simple concept. Like, it's communication. I'm sitting here talking to you. So but people think, I need to go and get a PhD. No, you don't. You need to keep it simple.
Okay.
And marketing is not necessarily advertising, right? It's engagement. It's face to face. Like, it's not necessarily.
It's word of mouth. Word of mouth is still very large. I mean, it's called social media now, but it's still word of mouth.
I'm so glad you said that, because social networking was around a long time before social media, right? I mean, that's a driving concept. We try to make it like it's
right.
It's mysterious.
Right. Is social networking still valid? Is it still something that we need?
It's essential. I mean, for me, it's a new business development tactic.
Yes.
So I love the fact that people can see some of the stuff we do here in Atlanta. And say, Chicago's like, oh, hey, we want to do that.
Right.
Okay.
Raleigh's like, hey, we want to do that. So absolutely.
Yeah, it's essential because, it keeps people like Ken and I in business. Because before it was like we were the wizards behind this curtain, and people are like, what do you do? And you tell them and they're like, I don't know what you do. Yeah, but okay, never mind. So social has helped us to step out and be like, this is what I do. Here's an example. Because back in the day, the 90s, I had a portfolio that I carried around with me.
Nice.
Now here's my link. It's beautiful.
Website.
You're showing stuff on social media, things that you've done as part of your portfolio now. So your virtual portfolio.
Yes.
But you still feel that the social networking piece is essential.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, it's a way to reach entire other markets. Before we used to be except for you, right? She used to do some of my very first
her eyes got big.
Day,
she was
right?
like, me? Yes,
so
you.
Before social media, she was getting me national exposure, via PR Newswire and all these other tactics. And
thank you.
She started tagging before people even know how to tag.
In those groups, and just thinking,
right?
People are if they're talking over there, hey, talk about this. Like, I'll jump in and start the conversation and just study it. Like, it's 1,200 people in here talking about soul music. Oh yeah, I got a soul music project. I'm over here. I'm talking to you. Yeah.
Do you find that younger people are in your social networking audiences, or is it still kind of the old school people because we feel we have to physically be in the room, shake a hand, see a face?
If we're talking, and Jurena touched on this earlier, if we're talking about it from a marketing standpoint, take us out of the picture, right?
Okay.
At the end of the day, we're trying to deal with audiences.
All right.
So if we've got a certain product that requires us to talk to a 12 to 18-year-old, then that's what we're going to do. If we've got a certain product that speaks to women, then that's what we're going to do. So we have our own individual businesses and kind of our network around that. But if we're working for clients, take us out of the picture. We just want to make sure that we connect that product, that service with their customer. And
Okay.
sometimes I'm not the customer.
Right.
There are too many times where I'm targeting women or somebody else.
Right.
I'm not the customer. So I just need to be cognizant
Okay.
of what it takes to affect their customer.
And then figure out who is that customer? What are they up to? Where are they going? What are they reading? What are they listening to? And figuring out, how do I find an angle to get with the product or the service or whatever I'm offering into and on their radar.
Does grassroots tactics still work?
Sure.
You guys talked about street teams, actually the social networking piece. Does that still really work?
It does, and something you can relate to. I used to do marketing for Verizon in Bell Atlantic.
Okay.
Close up in New York. Right? So one of the things that we used to love doing was sponsoring the Labor Day Carnival every year, right? So this is not TV, this is not radio,
No.
this is just the most serious Caribbean carnival. Yes. And we had the right products,
Yes.
right? So we could ride that float straight down Flatbush Avenue,
Yes.
saying buy our product.
Right.
Straight
Right.
grassroots.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
We've got several festivals here. So yeah, and as a matter of fact, beyond the strategies we need to be talking about today should be scalable. Right, and if you're a small business owner, sometimes you don't have a choice.
Right.
That is the tactic you need to get the word out.
I agree.
Agreed? All right. Because I grew up with flyers.
Yeah. Well, I didn't grow up with those because Alabama,
Yeah.
we
It
weren't
was,
promoting.
it was,
Yeah.
I mean,
we didn't have a lot. We had football.
yeah. I mean, realistically, when you sit back and you look at it, we did flyers, and flyers were done for parties, whatever it was to get the word out, and people actually, and that was the connection. You had the flyer, you gave it to this person, they looked at it, they may have questions, you answered the questions, you'd be like, yo, I don't know, just come through, whatever the case may be. But people they've seemed to move away from that.
It varies, right? Like there used to be times where I could sell out an entire show
right.
via Facebook,
Right.
and then the algorithms change.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
So now
Yes.
all of a sudden you got to spend more money to find your customer. Believe it or not, street teams sometimes are the most targeted approach.
Right.
And it varies in a lot of different ways too. Like
Yeah.
sometimes people think about street teams in terms of traditional flyers.
Right.
Now these days you got the interactive sandwich boards, like there's all
that's
kinds of
that's
ways.
a street team.
Yeah.
Or billboard,
Yeah.
electronic
Yeah.
billboard. So, or just people with T-shirts, or
Yeah.
years. And it's funny how quickly things progress. But flash mobs,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's all the same thing.
Flash mobs.
Yeah.
What are flash mobs?
Oh, well, you've seen the videos where there are groups of people who break out in song and dance in public places. So,
I never knew the title of that.
Oh, yeah.
Flash mobs.
So that's just taken, and that is right. So all these new terms, right? As the technology
Yeah.
and tactics evolve, the other formal term is user-generated content, right? Where people are on site tweeting and
Adding their opinions.
That's street team taken offline, turning it online.
Right.
Now, do you guys? I know you guys do, but I'm going to say this. A pet peeve for me is quality. I see this. It has the simplest intent, right, to communicate the product or the service or the event, and it's just not put together well. I mean, all the information is there, but it's not maybe appealing. I won't even talk about spelling. I'll give you that's right, but it just wasn't put together right. And you can tell that it was a person that really didn't know. They might have had some access to some kind of Photoshop or something to put it together, and then and people don't realize that is an extension of their brand.
Absolutely.
It's very important. And I'm like, why do you not think that's not critical? And why would you not make the investment? So there is a very thin line as to whether or not people are willing to spend $1 in marketing something properly, which is an issue. And I don't know if you felt that with some of your customers, if you had to talk them off to the ledge, or they just knew automatically this was something that they needed to have.
I mean, with a lot of clients, sometimes after you deal with strategy, then the next question is budget.
Right. Because how much is this going to cost me?
How much is it going to cost?
Yeah,
right?
how much is this going to cost me? And do you have different tiers of that?
There should be.
Levels.
Should be.
There should be, and you would hope that you don't have to sacrifice quality to do it.
Right.
you know, Jurena will probably tell you there is no excuse for misspellings and.
That's huge pet
Huge.
peeve. Huge pet peeve. I mean, because at this point you have so many checks and balances.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can get the person sitting next to you to proofread that,
Right.
like proofreading and listening. Those two things, you know, what you say to the graphic designer or the web designer, they may not have heard you. So you put it in writing. You put it in writing again. So if it's midnight and you're not available, they can go back and check and see what do you know. So it's, I mean, but sometimes I think when it comes to presentation, a lot of people just don't have that eye to see it. You can see it there in front of you, but the I guess the big part of it would be having the vision to see it how your customer
Right.
is going
That's the
to
missing
see it.
piece.
So what you see, you got to put your customer's hat on, and if
Right.
it doesn't make sense to in your customer's mind, then you got to start over.
And there's scales of clients too, right? So sometimes you have the benefit of testing two totally different messages to your audience.
Right.
Because one might be better optimized than the other. And some companies do that all the time.
Yes.
So, you know, you can't always assume that your first time out the gate is the perfect way to go.
Okay.
But always leave an opportunity to continuously improve
Right.
on your communications.
When can a consumer expect to see some results in the area of marketing?
It depends on your timeline. It depends on your strategy and your tactics. I mean, if your goal is, I am hoping to see my brand in national publications, print publications, then you have to keep in mind that these people go to print. If the issue is out in June,
Right.
they started working on that in February.
Yeah.
So you
Okay.
can't come to me in May and say, I want to see myself in Essence.
Right.
That's just not happening
Right.
because they have editorial calendars. You know, smaller publications are accommodating, but when it comes to, you know, time and those big guys, you have to work on their schedule. And I'm sorry, what you have may be the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Right.
It's not on their plate, so you got to wait your turn.
Okay.
And then there are also different types it depends on your product, right? If you're on an e-commerce platform, real time, like down to the
Yeah,
down
yeah.
to the
Can happen
millisecond,
sooner than
right?
later, yeah.
And then if it's direct response, you know, your call to action is call this phone number, hit this website, and I got operators standing by.
Right.
Like that's real time response. You know, your question's kind of funny because that's what had me spoiled in radio, right? After doing direct response, you play a funny song, I mean, you play a good song, you say something funny, and
Yeah.
you know, the phones just start popping,
Right.
right? You kind of expect some, depending on your product and depending on how you deliver your product, you kind of expect the same thing.
Okay.
You know, now, there's also a difference between something called considered purchase, which are typically those more expensive things that you want to research first, right? All those high ticket items, you know. You might not see immediate response on those things because people want to make sure that there's no buyer's remorse, you know, that they spent a couple of grand, 10 grand, 100 grand on the right thing.
On the right stuff.
So it just depends on the product and the service too.
Now, for you guys, what is, I don't want to say better, but what has put a smile on your face more? Working with a bigger brand company or more of the personal, on a personal level?
That's such an unfair question.
I know, right?
That is such an
They
unfair
say I
question.
asked the right questions.
I
though.
don't know.
Why is that unfair?
That's an unfair question.
Why? What makes it unfair?
Is not balanced because when you're dealing with the bigger brands, there's more money. So of course, you know, at some point that's going to make you smile, whether you're money driven or not. You're going to smile about that check. You're like, yes. But then when you're working with personal brands and, you know, creative type people, it's something about helping them reach that goal.
Yeah.
Right, and you're just like,
They're grinding.
Yes,
They're
and
really
it's a
trying to make
beautiful
this
thing,
work, but it
and-
ain't really necessarily pop. Your bank account's not going bing.
right. So, you know, I got to adjust a
Adjust.
little, you know, and adjust things. But
You'll find that that's most, you know, those are the ones you love.
yeah.
And of course you love the big boys. But,
Yeah.
You know.
So
That's
that's
why
why
it's
we're
an
saying
unfair
it's
question.
unbalanced. Like you love it, and
Just
then
thought I'd give the listeners some hope. Like,
that's
you guys will work with them, but it's just like, yo, it's just the money ain't popping off right away.
but
Takes a minute.
but let me
But that's not always the objective.
Okay.
right. Sometimes you are in love with what an artist does,
What they represent.
what they represent, and you yourself as that professional, you want to be a part of it. And
Right.
it's like, how can I help you? And then you know.
And sometimes that's the way to pick up big clients. Like your investment in who they are and what they represent on a small scale. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, I like what you do. Let's do more.
Do more.
So
it's just, nothing is written in stone. Let's say that. Everything is possible. Everything.
Yeah. I mean, in some agencies even that I've worked for have a certain balance between revenue and more altruistic nonprofit clients also. So there's no reason why you can't do both. You can still do things that are very much focused on the community, and you can do some things that drive revenue.
Right.
I know it's everything. That's a good thing, because it's very difficult, because a lot of us nonprofits, entrepreneurs, artists, creative people, we have this goal, this target. We can have business plans, strategies, we can have it all, but it just takes a minute.
Yes.
Sure.
Before it just ignites, and you're constantly going back and looking at what is your objective, what's your mission, what kind of value are you bringing, what's your audience, are you targeting the right audience? Like you're just kind of like in this spin, if you will. So the marketing piece is important. It can get frustrating because it's like you're doing everything that you know you need to do, but it just hasn't really hit that lick. So what would you tell somebody that's in a position like that? Just stay at it, give it up, reassess? Like,
I would never say give up.
okay.
I would never advise anyone to give up, because if that's your dream and that's your passion, then you have to. It's almost like the universe won't rest if they're pushing you. So I would never tell you to stop.
You can't stop.
You have to keep in mind, nothing was overnight. Like I remember telling friends when we were younger, when I think Jermaine Dupri made $1 million when he was 21. And so when that story, made its way around, people were like, oh my God, I'm behind. And I'm like, no. Jermaine was dancing at 10. What were you doing? So this is 10 years in the making.
Right.
You can't compare yourself to where he is.
That is such a big point. That's such a big point. Like honestly, there is no such thing as an overnight success.
Never.
Right?
No.
It's when preparation meets opportunity.
Absolutely.
That's success. Yeah.
There's stuff that we're doing now that were in business plans 7-8 years ago.
Right.
And they're just coming to fruition now.
Yeah.
But there was a plan, right?
So you have to be patient.
You have to be patient, and you have to keep working, but you have to be consistent. You can't, I'm not doing it this month. No, do something every day. Even if it's as simple as, I'm going to write on my calendar what I should have been doing today. You got to keep it in that psyche. So it's knowing that it's building, it's in process, but never give up.
And then just
never.
the discipline. We've had some mutual associates. I'm thinking like people like Munson Steed and Kent Matlock, who just have this insane discipline.
Yeah.
Like they set goals and KPIs for their sales teams and their account teams.
Yeah.
So, yes, they're multicultural entrepreneurs, but they still pursue the business with the same kind of discipline as any other corporate entity.
One of my mentors, Kevin Foley, he is a very focused, very intense businessman, but he's always working on it. Even if he's sitting there, like I remember in our office, he had a rule. If I'm in my office and the door is closed, you have to gauge like, what is he doing? Because it may look like he's just sitting there, but something's going on in that mind. And it's just like, okay, don't knock on the door. Wait until he comes out, because you're interrupting that thought process.
Yeah.
So, they are normally very driven, and they require you to level up. And if you are not there, then guess what? You won't be there.
Right.
So you have to count it as a win when you get to stick around. Like, oh my God.
You'll hear about it.
And I think that's the thing I value the most, is just difficult clients, right? Like some difficult clients are your best clients.
Man, yes, they are.
And it's not because they're being petty.
No.
But
They're
they're
being
focused on things like
focused.
timeline and budget and schedule and
Yeah.
And success.
Yes.
Success
they want to
is
get there,
important.
and they've hired you to help them. They've hired you. So once that exchange has happened, then you have to, what do they say, manage their expectations.
You sure do.
Right.
I remember having a potential client contact me. And this is when Oprah was really, really big and she had her talk show. And he came to me and he had a vocalist. And he said, I said, what are your goals? And he said, I want to be on Oprah. And I was like, when? He was like, as soon as possible. I was like, no, I'm sorry. That's not going to work. And it was around the time when Alicia Keys came out. And he was like, well, Alicia Keys was on it. I said, whoa. No.
You said, whoa.
Well, we're not going to do that.
You said, whoa.
I will stop you. Like, I like to manage your expectations. I'm not going to sell you a dream of, I'll have you on Oprah by Thursday. Stop it. No. Don't do that. Like, when you set yourself up for failure when you tell your clients things like that.
It's so true, right?
Yeah, because,
right.
I mean, anything could happen. I mean, I remember when 9/11 happened. We had so many projects going on for Coca-Cola. And then that happens and what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do?
You got to regroup. And it's like, if I promised you that I was going to, no guarantees.
Under promise and
over deliver. Oh.
Yeah, it sounds like a choir. Bunch of choir people. Let me ask you guys this. When you work with clients, what do you expect them to bring to you? Excuse me, as it relates to, do they need to have a business plan already in place, an objective? What do they need to know or bring when they work with you guys? Jurena's thinking. Ken, what about you?
I mean, it's
just depends.
It's
it varies.
What you prefer. It's the difference between what you prefer and what you get.
This is true.
Okay. So tell me what you prefer. What do you prefer?
You prefer in any situation that everybody is so confident about their business that they can give you clear guidance.
Okay.
That's what you prefer.
Okay.
That's not what you get.
That's not what you get.
What you get most of the time, and this is the fun of the job, is what you get is somebody who wants you to take what's out of their head and make a comprehensive plan out of it. And that's, I mean, there's a reward in that. I mean, I enjoy doing that, but it's the difference between what you want and what you're working with.
Yeah. I mean, for me, number one, a budget.
Ooh.
Number one, a
I
budget.
should have said that first.
I mean, you gotta have. Give me something to work with. Give me something to work with. Like, I mean, Jesus turned water to wine, but I'm not Jesus.
Jay's keeping it 100.
Yeah.
She was like a budget.
I need you to have a budget. I mean, you can come to me without any content. You can come to me without any bio, anything written. My company is set up where we can help you get there.
Okay.
So, and the other thing is, come with your listening ears. Don't hire me and then tell me what I should be doing.
Oh.
Why did you hire me? You should have done it.
Oh.
And I will say thank you, but no thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. Sometimes you get clients that hire you to be a thought partner. Sometimes you get clients that just expect you to execute.
Okay.
But we need to be clear what it is up front.
Right. And stay focused on that.
Right.
Because, 3 months down the line, we've gotten, we cool and, we've hung out a couple of times and now it feels like a friendship, but it's still business. So I may have to, take a step back and be like, no, 3 months, I need you, this is what we agreed on. Unless we make an amendment to this is what we're doing.
And 90 days seems about fair, right? And just working with anybody just initially to just kind of
Bare minimum. I mean,
it's not a 30-day thing. It's not a month thing.
In certain cases, like because of the way that I learned PR.
Right.
So I learned the bulk of it from the television side. So television is tomorrow I can have you on air. Today I can have you on air. It's almost instant. But with a lot of things, a lot of PR parts, it takes time. But I had to learn the difference between if I'm looking to get a placement on radio, how long is that going to take? If I'm and then you have to think about what is this project or this event that you're selling them, or you're trying to sell them, and if it's 45 days away, you need to have those lead times set up so I'm selling tickets. I mean, you need to make it newsworthy, and a lot of times, unless someone is dying or it's a world emergency. It's not an emergency.
Yeah.
And that's really the best way to even maintain client relationships is to have regular check-ins.
Yes.
You know what I mean? At least on the digital marketing side, you don't want to wait 30 days before you start optimizing. Like, that's too late.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if, and in your 30 days and your 90-day gates, if you need to reconsider the plan or optimize, it gives you a chance to do so. But the worst thing, even on the annual contract, the worst thing is go through the whole year.
Right.
And
That's
and go do
that's
it all.
Yeah, no.
That's not cool at all. No, you should be checking in at least once a week because it's new for them. It's new for you, and it's that whole getting to know you period and just putting in the work.
Yeah.
So there's no surprises along the way.
Right. And absolutely, like, definitely check in with them. Even if, I mean, now, like, when we first started, it was, I have to send you a fax. You know? So now, for you not to be speaking to your client, like, I'm like, what are you talking about? You can text them, you can email them, you can tweet them.
She said a
So
fact.
it's
Before
like,
email.
yeah, before
Yeah.
email, like you sitting over there crafting the letter, you gotta type
She
it, print
said
it, send
a
a fax
fact.
because we didn't have email.
It's so
So and you still had those deadlines.
And it shook. It said,
we could make sure we were communicating. I know by 3:00 I'm supposed to have this report on whoever's desk.
Ooh.
Best believe it's gonna
That's
be
the
there.
challenge, and I'm still a little old school, but that's the challenge I have with millennials. Is that, well, I sent a text or I sent an email.
Right.
Hold up. Did you confirm that they received it?
Right.
Did you talk to the person? Don't expect that it just went into a box and somebody snatched it.
And someone
right
saw
away.
it, right?
I mean, shit, I remember payphones. So.
Man, what?
He said painful.
Try
That's
planning
dimes
an
and
event,
quarters.
and your first mode of communication was a pager.
A two-way
So
pager.
you had to
Two-way
give,
pages.
a code.
Ooh,
Like,
they
who is
they
this?
they dating
Oh,
themselves.
that's the lighting guy.
Ooh, the two-way pager. I want to talk about it. Thank you, Kay, for the millennials, because I do think that they take risks. Like, they jump off and they just do it. And they feel like social media is the end-all, be-all to most of their things. If I send you an emoji, they feel like they talk to you. Real talk. So the difference is that you guys are very formalized. I got to talk to the client. I like to have a face-to-face. I got to talk to them on the phone. Their style is a little different. Are they winning or not?
I mean, it's the trend. It's what it's going to be. I mean, you're the next generation, and ultimately, that's what's going to drive what it is. I get a chance to look at like Google Analytics and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And demographically, there's just a difference. Older folks are more predisposed to desktop.
Yeah.
Younger
Right.
people,
Mobile.
right?
Right.
Mobile.
And we have to balance somewhere in between. So even though I'm not a millennial, I may have millennials that I'm working
Come
with.
on
So
now.
guess what? I have to figure out, how do they communicate?
Yeah.
Do you tweet or do you
Are you
on
Snapchatting?
LinkedIn? Right. Like, you don't Facebook. Like, I mean, that's
Right. They don't even do that, yeah.
And you have to have those conversations. Like, how do you prefer me to communicate with you?
Right.
You
And
have
that's-
to ask those questions.
And
now.
that's with every customer.
Yes.
Right. Any
Right.
customer you
Yeah.
have, how do you prefer to hear from me?
Right.
Does it put you, are you comfortable working with younger people? No, it's not a big deal for you.
It's not a big deal. I mean, again, as long as we're both on the same team and we're both willing to put in the work. Now, what I will not do is pull you along if you are not pulling your weight.
Right.
Like,
But that's
you know,
with anybody.
That's with anybody. So I mean, don't just
She
think
don't
it's
care
just.
grown folks either.
Yeah,
right,
I don't have
right.
time for
She's
that.
rolling
Like,
those
if you-
eyes. Y'all
if
see
you're
her
doing
rolling?
this-
No.
I'm like, no, I'm
Not doing that.
No, I don't have time for that. I mean, we're gonna work together. I feel confident when I know I can say, okay, Michelle got that. But if I'm driving home, I'm like, I don't know if she gonna text. Did she send it? That creates unnecessary stress. So you have to have that trust in the person that you're working with. Be a millennial, Generation X. I don't care who it is. You gotta trust them.
I mean, if you think about it historically, 20-somethings change the world every generation.
Every generation.
True.
Right? It's
True.
always the 20-year-olds that are more passionate, got more fire, and got
Right.
more
Yes,
energy.
that's true.
and-
More creativity and
Right.
more time to explore it.
Right.
They doing it.
Right?
So it's to be
less-
expected.
Right. Less things to worry about, less risk, all that kind
Mm-hmm.
of So I like working with them because you get pure, unfettered drive.
Yeah.
The opportunity is to help them channel it into,
Right.
and they still want to feel like they're doing it their own way.
Right.
Right. It's, it ain't supposed to feel like their parents or their uncles or their grandparents. It's supposed to feel like them and their own generation.
Right.
And then the other thing is, if you're a seasoned person, you should absolutely open up your network and seek them out.
Say that again.
They have
Say that again.
knowledge of things that we couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I mean, I have children who can I can Snapchat, and I'm still like, what's a snap? And what's a I got it. It's like, okay, and they and it's done, and I'm just like, you're amazing. But yeah, they are the bridge to keeping you in line with what's coming next and what's happening now. And if you're cutting them off, guess what? You're limiting your communication.
Yeah. Right. Do we think that the things and the tools that you guys use coming up, especially in the college years and then right after, are applicable for millennials today? Like, do they need a business plan? Real talk.
Yes, because your mind is still your mind, and things are still going to pop up and you may lose them. But if you're placing them in your business plan and you're charting it out, I mean, it may not be the format that we had, 25 pages, but you should be able to put your thoughts on paper.
So is it a condensed version?
Well, even now, right? I get a chance to speak to undergrad students at Morehouse and MBA students at Clark and some of the other colleges in town. And the skills are timeless.
Okay.
The tools
that's right.
are far more advanced.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Right? We didn't have the ability, we go back to talking about email. Now we can have video. You know what I mean?
I'll FaceTime you. What? What's this Jetson stuff going on? It's like, oh my
one
God.
hashtag can connect you with a million people.
Right.
Yes.
Before we were trying to make individual phone calls.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
And tell your boys. Y'all hurry up. And tell everybody. Yeah, we know.
So the technology is definitely a hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
I can say that.
Yeah, you can say that. Okay. You can say that. Yeah. Okay. So the skills are there. Do they have the skills? Based on your experience,
I think they have some of them.
Okay.
So one of the things, and again, just because I'm old school, like it was all about
we true school, Ken. We true school.
True school.
True school.
Right?
Not old school, true school.
We never had the option to not be accountable for our marketing dollars.
Right. Okay.
Like they were always like, "Where's your ROI? What's it doing for me?" And if you can't tell me that, you fired.
Right. You out of here. You're done. You're never working this town again.
I don't know that all of them walk through the door with that same kind of mindset. It's creative ideas, blue sky, but you always kind of got to bring them back to, okay, is this the prudent use of resources? Are we getting return on investment? You can't just shoot. You got to make sure that your client is benefiting.
Okay.
I say for the millennials. Now, one thing that caused me a little bit of concern was watching when text messaging came into play, and to watch text talk be transferred to professional communication. Yes. That concerned me. But if that millennial really wants to be in the business on a professional level, they'll make that transition. They'll figure out that how I speak to my friends on text messaging is absolutely not acceptable in all business communication. So you have to help them, though. Yeah. You have to guide them.
And, the other thing, too, even in this conversation, we got to make sure we're not just relegating ourselves to the U.S.
Yeah.
This is North America. This is global.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the internet made it global. Like, people would think, like, oh, I'm online. But, no, think about that. Anybody, anywhere can see you once you put your stuff online. How do you get it to them? You may have to take some media, put some media placements in place just to make the connection. But, I mean, a lot of times I'm getting retweeted by someone in the UK, and I'm like, thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
I read my numbers, Netherlands, Australia.
Right.
Like, wow.
Right.
Canada.
Right.
Nice.
It makes you smile. It's like, whoa, that's interesting. My pen has taken me places I never.
Do you guys feel like you're doing the same exact thing you were 20 years ago, is slightly different?
Different for me.
I think the seed may have been planted 20 years ago.
Yeah.
To allow you to do what you want to do now.
Right.
So this was always what you wanted to do now.
Right.
Because your clients have changed or gotten broader.
I was a communications person, and I became a marketing person out of necessity, right? All of a sudden, I wanted to control the budgets, control the strategy, control the timeline, right?
Control. Yeah.
Now, of course, you're still accountable to the accountants and the finance people, but that, it was cool being in front of the, camera on the mic and let's have some fun, let's engage. Right. And then you're like, I want to do this, and they're like, well, where's your money? Where's your budget? So I was like, well, let me start there. Let me figure out how I get that money, how I get that budget.
Okay.
And then for me, the evolution, even in terms of being more digital marketing oriented, right? If you just want to be the best marketer that you can be, then it's all about the new tactics, personalization, email.
Yeah.
mobile. We're talking about stuff here, but if you think about stuff that's happening in China, Brazil, or Africa, it's all about that phone.
Yes.
So how do we just continue to stay
Connected.
even ahead of it, connected, and even ahead of the curve if we can?
Jurena, agree?
I agree.
Okay.
I do.
All right. I think, just looking over your experiences and your history, you guys are touching a different market of people today than you probably were 10 years ago.
Absolutely, because it's all, again, that process. We've been building when you said 20 years ago, I was like, oh my God, how old was I 20? At that age, I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I was still trying to figure it out. So it was just kind of like, and then again, certain terms weren't even in place.
Yeah.
So you didn't really know what to call yourself. This whole creatives.
Yeah.
I remember telling friends, like, I need to figure out how to get paid off of creativity. And everybody, the room would go silent, like, I don't know how you going to get paid off of creativity. And then now we have this word creatives. And it's like, sometimes the universe, you have to catch up, or it has to catch up for you, wait for you. And I feel like 20 years ago, I was just like, what am I supposed to be doing?
Right.
Like, I have these skills, but, I have this college degree, but when you're in those, creative arts, people automatically think, well, oh, you should be an administrative assistant. I want a little bit something different. So you got to get creative in how you get to where you want to be, and you have to try a couple of different shoes on,
Right.
So if I jumped around from music video production to television production to working in an agency, like I remember weeks where I would go from hip hop music video, and by Friday I'm in Coca-Cola with suit and tie, and I'm like, this has been the craziest.
But that maturity is part of it, though.
Yeah.
Ain't it? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you have to get there.
I've always liked to tease Jurena because, freshman year she had her hustle on. So, like,
Well, I just, I don't know. I mean, like, I tell people, I did an interview a couple of months ago, and they asked me, like, where did this entrepreneurial bug come from? And I'm like, I really don't know, because I do remember being like 8, 9 years old, and our candy lady passed away in our neighborhood, and I remember being like a chunky little kid sitting on the porch, like, I really want to now later, and I was like, she's gone, and I remember sitting there like, wait a minute, that spot's empty.
Ooh. But she's right. That's how you drive the lane. You driving the lane, girl.
But when she left it open, I went ahead and
there you go. You in the paint.
Man,
Word up.
And I remember in my room making flyers, and my mother is
absolutely.
Like, what are you doing? I'm like, when we get to church,
absolutely.
I need to make copies.
Come through.
What?
Yeah, that's what you do. You see the opportunity.
With 2 book bags, like one with books and the other filled with candy and soda and pop. And by the time I get the first period, I got like $50.
Yeah.
My dad was like, okay, go ahead. But he was the same way. So I'm watching him. So I think that's where it all came.
You see.
And
we talk about it, but I think, and Ken and I talked about it, but I think Atlanta just creates, it's a place where dreams can come true.
Absolutely.
Real talk. Like I'm doing things that I would not be doing in the Bronx. I wouldn't be doing this because it's oversaturated. It's just, it would be more of a, who do you know? Like, it would just be much more difficult than doing it here. And then you see an opening and you go for it.
Right.
Without question. And it's just a part of who you are. You're just doing what you do. You're just like, that's what it is.
Right.
And you're doing it. So, yeah.
You see the need.
You see the need.
I have what it takes.
Yeah.
I'm raising my hand, or better yet, I'm just going to grab you by your hand and say, come
I'm
with
going.
me. I'll show you how to
I'm pressing the gas.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gassing.
I mean, people have always told me, like, you're bold. And, and yeah, I embrace that. Like, one of our sayings in our house is a closed mouth don't get fed.
Never
so
gets
if
fed.
you're in the back
Right.
and we eating, you come in there and say, Ma, you didn't tell me the plate was right. You didn't.
Right. You eat what you kill.
Never.
Absolutely. I got time to wait.
Eat what you kill. Marketing. So I want to talk a little bit about marketing for artists, because you guys are touching artists. You have an artist in your midst now, right? That you manage and work with and that type of thing.
I don't touch management at all.
Just marketing.
just PR and marketing.
Just PR.
Yeah, no management. Like, let's be clear. No.
Okay, no management, but marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And really the PR piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she's an actress?
She's an actress. Her name is Cantrell. Kai is 11 years old.
Right.
And she was She's in the Hate You Give as the younger version of Amanda Steinberg's character, Star Carter.
Nice.
Yeah.
First actress that you've done PR work for?
No. Well, no. Maybe 2 years ago,
Okay.
I was working with Kiana Simone Simpson.
I remember that.
But she played the younger version of Oprah's character, and then for a minute I was like, "Am I getting everybody that plays the younger version of like these
that's good
older
work.
But it's fun.
That's good work.
It's fun. But
That's good work.
I came from that music side because Atlanta was big on music before film showed up.
Right.
You know, film was kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
So, but I did jump in on a couple of film projects. Like, oh, you need me to do? I'm there.
Right.
Okay.
Like my first project, and when you said, have you worked with an actress? It wasn't PR, but Players Club.
Yeah.
Like, hi, Winsome Sinclair.
Yeah.
Winsome is my mentor. Winsome, I mean, I will tell anybody, what you put into the universe, it will come back to you.
Yes.
It will. I remember sitting in my living room, looking in the Essence magazine, and seeing this photo of this woman, and I'm like, Winsome Sinclair, her name is Regal. Like, I would love to meet her. Going about my life, and maybe 2-3 weeks later, she's in my office, and I'm just like, God, what am I supposed to do?
Right,
like,
right.
This is the opportunity. I'm not going to stall. I'm not going to choke. And, you know, I made myself very available. Whatever you need. You don't have to rent a car. I got a car. I got you.
She's like, whatever
I got you. And, yeah, so actresses, musician, Keisha Jackson. I worked with Keisha a couple of years ago. You know, it just depends. It just depends.
On the budget? I said it.
Sometimes, now with Keisha, let me say this. I do
Keisha
require
Jackson,
a budget.
daughter of Millie Jackson.
Uh-huh.
That's right. But sometimes you look at things and you're like, look at the legacy.
Right.
Okay, the body of work.
The body of work.
Right.
So,
Right.
and depending on how you are introduced to me. So the way that Keisha and I were connected was through Dungeon Family and Dee Dee Murray. So if Dee Dee makes the phone call, I'm going to answer.
Right.
And if she says, Keisha needs you, guess what? I'm there.
Right.
Because that legacy, and you know that they're serious. Like, this is their business, and they're calling on you to bring your professional skills to help them. Yeah, I'm there. We'll talk about budget.
And Keisha brings a certain discipline too.
Yeah,
I mean,
Keisha's amazing. Like,
those folks who kind of grew up in the business, you mentioned legacy, like they're like, it's like this. This is how we do it.
Yeah.
It's like there's very little room for miscommunication.
and they're very knowledgeable about every facet of what this business is because it's metamorphosis. So, like I tell people, I take my daughter because she may not be paying attention like right now, but 10 years from now, it may click, and she's like, my mom needs something.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got it.
Yeah.
She is.
So,
She is. Ken Rye, marketing, how you do it today. This whole hot ice thing. Talk to us a little bit about that. How do you align marketing with that?
how is hot ice?
Yeah, hot ice.
I mean, it's ongoing. I mean, and it's ongoing, and it's a cycle of reinvention. You know, this is something that started years ago from a radio concept.
Right.
With my business partner, the late Kim Beatty.
Right.
Rest in love, Ken.
It was a radio concept, and the whole.
And it was a very good radio
Say
concept that everyone was saying, are you listening to CLK? Like, who is this? Oh,
Tell
my
him.
God.
That's
It
what I
was great.
said. Right.
It was like a breath of fresh
That's
air
what
on
I
the
said.
airwaves.
That's
oh
what
my
I
God.
said. Yes. Yep.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
We digressed for a second,
kind.
but we needed to say that because that's important. Yes.
Yeah.
Go.
But that's a beautiful thing about the conversation, right? Is, you know, when Beatty passed, if I decided that I didn't want to do it anymore, I didn't have a choice because
Right.
it was all those same artists. So when we look back at the Anthony Davids,
Right.
and Roy Ayers, and the Algebras,
Right.
and the
Avery
Davenports,
Sunshine.
and
Right.
the Sunshines,
Right.
these
Right.
are, you know, so when in its inception, it was called Neo Soul.
Right.
But everybody's been in the game now 20, 30
20, right? It's 20, right?
So let's just call it soul.
Soul.
So, and all of those artists have grown, evolved, expanded. It's allowed us to build tangible relationships with people and publicists and labels in New York. It's allowed us to build relationships with venues
Yeah.
across the country. So it's all matured. You know, I think I mentioned that some of the same business plans that we had before, we have some of the same artists on the roster. So still the ability to work with people like Tortured Soul and Raheem Devon. So it's just been an evolution. And then I think Jurena spoke on this earlier, is that if you just try to put in good work, then you get a chance to continue working with great clients, you know. So I remember the first time I ever got a chance to work with Kindred the Family Soul was during the National Black Arts Festival. Their first time meeting me, my first time working with them, Storms, the show worked out.
Right.
But then later on, we get a chance to do a mini documentary, or we get a chance to book shows with some of my artists with them in Philly. So, it's all of the above, right? It's how do you do the best with what you've got? How do you chart a plan?
Yeah.
How do you add more discipline to it? And then truthfully, I just had a conversation with a brother who, so part of hopefully the way I evolve is just by building a great team, right? I've been blessed to interact with you two in several different capacities, but it's not until we had a comprehensive team that the business was focused. How do we add more rigor and operations and focus around the entertainment business?
Right.
I think that there's always kind of this thing that, entertainment is supposed to be willy-nilly, and it's like, no,
it's a business.
It is a business.
How do we make sure that people keep you accountable for the contracts and the booking and the scheduling and the new business development and the relationships, and even and there's nothing that you can take for granted.
Right.
I was really lucky to do a pilot for a reality show with George Daniels up in Chicago.
Oh, interesting.
And the whole concept of the show is, right, we're finding new talent in Chicago, and we're calling on the Brat, we're calling on Dave Hollister, and we're calling on all these artists, and then I'm supposed to check in with him on a weekly basis. I catch him at a different restaurant, he's got his cocktail, and he's sitting back. George, this is what's happening. And I'm telling him all the wrong stuff that's going on in the business, right? Such and such canceled, and such is, he's got a book here, and they got a flight here. And at the end of it, he's like, well, okay, fix it. Like, I'm trying to build up all this drama.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, it's our job to be troubleshooters and
problem solvers.
Solvers, and that no matter what, the show goes on. So, at least for me, if I get smarter and better, I'm lucky to have several project managers on my team who also know IT. I've had some really great sound engineers and DJ Rev Lee, Leon Smith.
But that comes because of the brand and the legacy that you've built. So people are honored to work with you because
Thank you, Jurena.
There, and it's like, I'll do
Thank
that.
you.
I appreciate you. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, because that's what we work for, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, that's all you've got is your name, your reputation, and your brand.
That's it. Jurena, how can people work with you? If they want your services, if they wanted to have you be their PR person in marketing, how can they find you? How can they get at you?
Well, my business line is 404-590-1339. Email jglasspr@gmail.com. On social networks, it's JGlass CMC, which stands for Communications, Media, and Creative. So those are the avenues. And, if you know someone that knows me, tell me up.
I'm gonna call you.
I'm
gonna call you. I'm gonna reset. I'm gonna come back that way again, and we're gonna work together.
Let's talk about it.
What do you have? Anything big on the horizon? Anything big coming up that you can share about your clients that we need to look for? We need to support. We need to do.
Things are happening, but I've been forced to keep my mouth closed.
Okay, keep it closed.
Everyone knew I was coming here, and they're like, don't say anything. Don't, shout out to Renaissance Kids Productions that made sure this morning they made sure don't say anything.
Can't
be
say
quiet,
anything,
be quiet.
be quiet. Okay,
they told
hush.
me something, and I was just like, don't
So
say
we
anything.
can't. So we don't know.
But just be on the lookout,
We'll be on the lookout. I follow you on social media, so I'll see. I'll be watching.
Okay.
All right, Ken Rye.
Yes,
What's
ma'am.
going on with you? What's happening in the world of hot ice?
Looking forward to 2019. We wrap up this year with a couple of shows with City Winery. Also, shouts out to Urban One Radio, Classics 102.9 FM, K1 is a radio sponsor.
Yes.
So love them, brand new station in the market. The Urban One radio family has been very, very supportive. So we've got a show on December 10th.
Yep.
With Quinn and Jukebox. Some folks might know Quinn from Blackstreet. And then Jukebox is just a band that's been kind of killing it around town.
Yeah.
So we've got that. January 7th, we get the opportunity to work with Kyrie Cabral Simmons, who used to be NDRE's music director. And he's doing a tribute to Chic.
Oh,
So Chic was all that, not only the Chic, but Sister Sledge,
All that.
Diana Ross,
All
Lily
that.
Luther.
It's good stuff.
So we've got a tribute series that continues with them. Also very grateful to have Venkman's based in Atlanta as a client, so we'll be doing a series of shows with them. Chicago, the Promontory, shouts to the Promontory, but they retain us for several different shows. We've probably done as many as 20 shows with them up in Chicago.
And Chicago loves live music. Like when I was there this summer, like and house music on the beach, it was enlightening. I was like, okay, I may never go home, but yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
Did you say house music?
Yeah, yeah.
Don't start with that.
Yeah, I know.
Don't do that. I'm trying to stay focused. So, you also, is there any opportunities with City Winery in Chicago for you for Hot Ice?
That's where Hot Ice at City Winery started. So we actually started doing shows in Chicago first.
I just wanted to set the record straight.
Yeah, we started doing shows in Chicago first.
Because you got people from Chicago listening today, so shout out to the people in Chicago.
Chicago crew, my hometown.
Yes.
First of all, Chicago was just very welcoming.
Yes.
There was a void. A lot of the artists that we had worked with in Atlanta, like Roy Ayers, like Avery Sunshine, like Kendrick the Family Soul, like all of those artists are actually bigger in Chicago now than they are even in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Right.
So Avery is doing like Millennial Park. Like,
Yeah, she and Dana just everywhere. I'm like, oh, it's beautiful.
Right?
Nice.
Isn't it beautiful?
These artists are doing
awesome.
2, 3 shows, 4, 5, 6 shows in a row. So in terms of Hot Ice, the objective is to continue to expand the network.
Okay.
We've got some great strategic partners in the DMV area. We want to keep our fingers crossed for Hot Ice West.
Yes.
The people in the Bay get out like we get out.
Yes.
So,
the Bay's a beautiful place.
We want to keep that going. And then, we'll also pray for Hot Ice Southeast. Because some of our friends down there in Miami, and Tampa, and Fort Lauderdale, and Orlando.
I need the beach, y'all. Come on.
So that's kind of what it is. We're really grateful for just having a great team, great staff, great strategic partners, and we're looking to grow.
In a business plan.
Can I insert one thing? I forgot to say something. I have a book series, and everyone always tells me I don't talk about it, but I'm going to mention it.
My face is lighting up. Come on with the book series.
So, like Kim was saying earlier, everyone thinks that it's kind of the entertainment industry is kind of disconnected and all over the place. Well, I decided to just take some of my experiences and blend it with career advice, and it's called Industry Life. So volume 1 is on Amazon.
I can get it on
2019. I'll release volume 2, and and I'm writing scripts. So we'll see.
Awesome.
We'll see.
I'm excited.
I am too.
I'm gonna get volume 1.
Okay, and I want to know
because I'm doing more
now.
now. Can I? Is it audio? Can I listen?
Haven't done audio yet, just because life is busy. But
it's busy for me too. That's why I need the audio.
I know,
Michelle
but see,
Obama
I'm supposed to get.
I'm listening
Michelle
to her.
Obama has handlers and a whole team.
I'm listening to her on audio right now. Shouts out to Michelle Obama.
Dog,
it's a good book.
Who can type?
I'm on chapter 11 on the book. Yeah, Michelle, thank you.
Everybody do your homework because mommy's working.
Yeah, it's tough on us.
Let the dog out.
At least you have a book. I don't even have one.
You have one. You just haven't figured out how to.
I haven't figured it
Which is what
out.
I had to do because I had random stories.
Yeah.
It was just like, how do I put this all in one? And again, driving. I'm like, oh, that's how I'm going to do it.
Because when you speak, you should have a book so that they can walk away with a piece of you after the talk is over.
Yeah.
And they can buy a book. So I'm supposed to do a book someday. Don't know.
Yeah.
This and this guy.
The RCR story.
Yeah, the RCR, how it all started and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, right.
You do that. So
One day back in the Bronx.
Yeah, it all started. The girl, chick from the Bronx. That's my story. Ken, how can people find you? How can people get at you?
Just Google us.
Just Google us.
Just Google us because you'll find
He's
us
so
on
millennial.
social media.
JGlass got
He said,
Hot
just
Ice.
Google us. Just Google us.
Yeah, Hot Ice is very Google.
Hot Ice Live, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've got several things happening currently at different venues. So when you Google us, you get a chance to
To see everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes
All right.
I still Google just to see if
It's
old
working?
stuff has come back, and it's like, oh, I forgot we did
stuff she has
that.
worked on years
like,
ago.
oh my God.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Like I
up.
completely forgot about the NPR stuff, and I was just like,
Oh,
Right.
wow.
Right. We
I
have
was
a
like,
whole
I just,
NPR series.
yeah.
that's hot.
Back before the studio thing was on. we had some features. Joel Rose and some other
Nice.
things about the Atlanta scene.
I like y'all.
That's so
This
funny.
is
I
a
forgot
good.
about
This
that.
was a good combo. Way to go, Michelle.
Before the Tiny Desk series.
Yes.
Before Tiny Desk.
I love
Before
Tiny Desk series.
Yeah, we were working those phones.
Isn't that funny? Like calling trade magazines, calling retail. Like that's how it used to be
Like
back
I remember,
then.
I remember sitting there like, oh God, please, especially like calling markets like New York.
Yeah.
And everyone has that New York state of mind.
Like, what's
It's
going on? What do you need?
Please don't let me get cussed out. Hey, I have this.
What do you need? What do you want?
No, don't call me. Okay,
Yeah.
call you tomorrow.
What do you need? What do you want? Look at my
Call
people.
you tomorrow.
You guys can go on forever. I think that's my time with you guys. Thank you. Thank you. This was very informative. This helped because I'm going to play it back so I can be still encouraged because I have work to do. I have to bookmark stuff. I need a PR person. I don't know if a PR will do work for nonprofits, but we're going to talk. We're going to see. We have to hit different target markets. I've grown in the last time.
Oh,
so
I've
we
watched.
talked. Thank you.
I've watched.
I love when they
From
say
the time
that.
if Ken tells me, listen or watch out for this, I'm like, okay. It may take me a couple of days, but once I'm there, I'm like, What is she doing right there? I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I'm glad
he put it on the
I'm glad you
radar.
said it that way.
Yeah.
She does me the same way.
We're growing.
If she tells me about it, give me a few days, and I'll catch up.
Yeah.
Give me a moment of
Yeah, it
silence,
takes
and I'm
time.
over there like, what?
I'm consistent with
okay.
it. I'm being consistent with it. So we're gonna definitely wrap. And so with that, I have a couple of different things. You know me, the Real Chicks. I'm everywhere. I am. We're syndicated. Yeah, we are on different internet radio stations. So you can catch us on Mix Radio Live. You can catch us on MOC Radio. We're on iTunes. We're on iHeart. We're on YouTube. Come on, subscribe. That's the best way to keep up with us is just go ahead and like it, subscribe to it, and we send you the notifications when we're going to be live.
iTunes alerts.
Yeah.
We send-
My phone.
Yeah, so every time we upload a show, you'll be aware. So this way you don't miss anything at any time. So it is the end of the year. It is December 2nd. It's that time of the year that when you say you're about community activism and community service, you should be doing something. And so we are no different. So this year we are doing a toy drive and holiday dinner. It is on December 14th at the Philip Rush Center here in Atlanta, 1530 DeKalb Avenue. Doors open at 6. It's from 6 to 9. It's going to be on a Friday. We're blessing 25 children between the ages of 8 and 11 on that night with some toys and dinner, and it's just going to be really a nice festive way to give back. So that's what we're going to do. 2019 we could talk about another time, but we got stuff on the calendar because my mentor always talking about is always talking about plan your calendar, plan it out, align with your calendar, do what you need to do. So we've already planned for our year back in September and October. I said that to the listeners before. So I don't want to be a wet blanket. If you haven't done it already, you're a little behind the 8 ball, but it's never too late. It's never too late. So plan out your year. It's not too late to get it done. Get it out. Figure out what your resources is. Figure out what your budget is going to be because that is important. People like you, but it takes a little money to get things going. Invest in yourself. That is what we have typically done for the past 6 years with Real Chicks Rock is that if nobody else believes in us, we do. I believe in us. So I'm going to invest in the brand. So carve out some marketing dollars. It'll help you. It'll help get that brand. It'll help you get that business out where it needs to be to the audience of people that needs to see it. So that is my time. You guys know where you can reach me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. DM me. Also, if you like the shows that you're hearing, put a little comment on it because that helps the ratings. We want to be rated. We just don't want to be out there. So in any platform you've been checking us out on, give us some feedback. We appreciate it. Until next time, thank you guys. I appreciate your time. Until next time, you guys take care. Continue to rock on. Bye.